We're good? Ooh, wow, look at that. Good evening, everybody. We are starting. Welcome to the public hearing agenda for December 5th. As we have quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. The time is tick, 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 6:59. I always like to start the meeting off in a good way by acknowledging that the city of Maple Ridge conducts its business on the traditional and unceded territory of the Katzie First Nation and the Kwantlen First Nation. Madam Clerk, I will hand it off to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. This public hearing is being held pursuant to sections 464 and 465 of the Local Government Act. The public hearing is being live streamed and recorded and will be available to the public for playback on the city website in accordance with Council Policy 3.12. The purpose of a public hearing is to allow all persons who believe their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaw a reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the bylaw that is subject of the hearing. Council's role in a public hearing is to listen. This is not a forum for debate or comment by council, nor for gestures or remarks of support or opposition from council. All persons who believe that their interest in property is affected by the proposed bylaws will be asked to provide their name and city of residence for the record before beginning their remarks to give council an idea of proximity to the application. Please note that comments can only be accepted regarding bylaws that are subject of this public hearing. For members of the public attending the public hearing in person who would like to speak, please approach the podium when the chair calls for public input. Please clearly state your name and city of residence for the record before beginning your comments. If you are participating electronically, please register as a speaker by raising your hand, turn on your camera, and clearly state your name and city of residence before beginning your comments. The corporate officer will confirm whether the statutory requirements for the public hearing have been met for each item. Planning Department staff will give a presentation on the item, after which the chair will issue 3 calls for public comment on the bylaw. Each person wishing to speak will be allotted 5 minutes to speak per call to a maximum of 15 minutes. Speakers are asked to provide their name and city of residence before beginning their comments and to address only the issue at hand. Staff will respond to technical questions where possible. After the public hearing has been closed, council cannot receive any further communication, written or verbal, regarding the public hearing item. Further consideration of bylaws on this agenda will take place at the next regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And we're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, please.
Thank you. The only item on our agenda tonight is item 2.1, application 2022-457-RZ at 12035 222 Street for a temporary use permit, and staff are in attendance to present.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Subject temporary use application is in an area that's designated town center commercial in the OCP. The existing zoning on the site is RS1 single detached residential in the site area. The lot is approximately 704 square meters. The purpose is to allow a temporary accessory off-street parking use on the subject property. This is a subject property located on the cadastral map showing Dooney Trunk Road to the south and 222nd Street to the east and Dunbar Street to the west, a little bit to the west, and Church Street Avenue to the north. Subject property located on the official community plan map showing the site designated as commercial, and the site to the south is commercial. This is the ortho photo just showing the site as a vacant lot with the medical clinic to the south, which is going to be using the site, proposing to use the site for accessory off-street parking, and the United Church to the west and Church Avenue to the north and 222nd Street to the east. So it's noted the temporary use permit applications be received for temporary accessory off-street parking use at the subject property. The off-street parking would provide 14 additional spaces for the existing commercial building located on the adjacent property to the south. Medical clinic. Both properties are under the same ownership. There are no proposed changes to the existing commercial building. The landscape screen would be proposed on the western and the northern property lines be installed to reduce visual impacts from the parking lot to nearby adjacent properties. Temporary use permits are valid for up to 3 years if issued by council and can be renewed only once at the discretion of council after the 3-year period. This is a proposed site plan showing the access up to 222nd Street driveway coming in and having the parking spaces angled on the site and it connecting to the property to the south, which is supporting the use of the medical clinic. There's a landscape buffer located there on the right side of the screen and also on the top of the property, and the existing trees on the site, those large circles to the top and to the bottom, are also proposed to be retained, not removed. So the conditions are for this temporary use permit respecting the property at 12035 222nd Street is to allow temporary off-street parking use accessory to the commercial building located at 22195 Dooney Trunk Road to the south for a maximum of 3 years, and it's forwarded to this public hearing and subsequent council meeting for decision. And the conditions are following the public hearing that the corporate officer be authorized to sign and seal this temporary use permit once the following terms and conditions are met, and that's removal of existing organic material on the lot and installation of a 3-inch minus road base and 3/4-inch clear crush gravel on the site for parking, registration of a cross access easement between the subject parcel at 12035 222nd Street and the medical clinic building to the south at 22195 Dooney Trunk Road, and that the installation of landscaping detailed in the previous slide be provided, and a payment of a refundable security of $3,784 be provided, which will be returned upon completion of the landscaping. Your worship and council and public.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to confirm, I missed at the beginning of the introduction there, that the statutory requirements for this public hearing were met by notices posted in the November 24th and December 1st editions of the local newspaper, and 120 notices were mailed out and no correspondence received in relation to this application.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, we'll now go on to the public hearing portion. Is there anybody in chambers or online who wishes to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll do a second call. Is there anybody in chambers or online? State your name and your place of residence.
My name is Reverend Leanne Shields. My place of residence is Pitt Meadows, but I'm the minister of the United Church that's just to the west of the proposed development. My question is around the drainage. If we're having really pretty bad drainage issues in our parking lot that's right adjacent to this proposal. And I just wanted to know where the water was going to go, because our parking lot's a swimming pool right now.
Okay. At this point, obviously, we're here to hear what you have to say, so we're taking note of that. I wouldn't be able to give you an answer
Okay.
at this moment, but that's something that we'll take note of.
And the other question is the access only from 222nd Street, the driving access, the car access?
Would you be able to answer that quick question?
Yes, the main access is from 222nd Street. The parking lot could connect also to the medical clinic to the south.
Okay.
But not to any other public
Okay.
road.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was round one, right? Okay. I'll now put on a call for round two. Anybody in chambers or online who wishes to speak to this item? Seeing none, I'll do a third and final call. Anybody in chambers or online who wishes to speak to this item? Seeing none, I will close this I'll close this item for a public hearing. As we have no further business, right? No further business. I will adjourn this meeting.